Imagine coming home to reheat dinner, only to hear your wife say you're more like a friend I happen to date. But what if that was just the tip of the iceberg? James, a dedicated financial analyst in Dallas, discovers his wife and his secret affair. Instead of exploding in rage, he plots a clever, legal revenge that flips their world upside down. Buckle up for twists, betrayal, and a satisfying comeback that proves karma works in spreadsheets. James parked his sedan outside their Dallas condo, the engine ticking as it cooled. He clutched 2 Mavericks tickets, a surprise for Anna after a grueling week crunching numbers as a financial analyst. His phone buzzed with a client email, but he ignored it, picturing her smile when he'd hand her the tickets. They hadn't been to a game in months, and he missed their old ritual of cheering courtside, her laughter louder than the buzzer. He stepped inside, the scent of leftover brisket hitting him as he set his keys on the counter. Anna sat on the couch, legs tucked under, scrolling her phone. "Hey," she said without looking up, her voice flat, like she was acknowledging a coworker. James held up the tickets, grin wide. "Guess what? Courtside for the Mavs opener. You in?" She glanced at the tickets, then back at her screen. "That's sweet, but I'm swamped this week." Her fingers kept swiping, a faint smile flickering. Not for him. He swallowed the sting, setting the tickets beside her. "Maybe next time," he said, keeping his tone light, but his gut tightened. He moved to the kitchen, reheating brisket in the microwave, its hum filling the silence. Anna's phone lit up with a notification, screen face down on the cushion. She didn't reach for it, but her eyes flicked toward it, quick and guarded. James noticed, his analyst brain cataloging the detail. "Work stuff?" he asked, casual, stirring the sauce. She shrugged. "Just friends." The word landed oddly, like a receipt she didn't want to show. He plated the food, the fork scraping ceramic as he set 2 portions on the island. They ate in near silence, Anna picking at her food while texting under the table. James chewed slowly, watching her thumbs move. "You seem distracted," he said, not accusing, just probing. She sighed, setting the phone down. "It's just, you're more like a friend I happen to date." The sentence hit like a dropped glass, sharp but quiet. He froze, fork mid-air, replaying her words. "A friend?" he asked, voice steady, testing the edge. She nodded, eyes on her plate. "Yeah, easy. Comfortable. Comfortable." The word echoed, hollow. James leaned back, the chair creaking. "Comfortable like what?" She hesitated, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear, a nervous tell he hadn't seen in months. "Like no pressure. Just us." Her phone buzzed again, and she flipped it face down faster this time. He didn't push, but the math wasn't adding up. Friends don't hide screens. He cleared the plates, the sink's rush of water drowning out the hum of the AC kicking on. Later, sprawled on opposite ends of the couch, they watched a sitcom, the canned laughter louder than theirs used to be. Anna's phone glowed again, a name flashing, Mark, before she swiped it away. James clocked it, his pulse ticking up. Mark from her office, the coworker who got her humor. He met him once, all charm and no boundaries at a happy hour. "Mark's texting late," James said, eyes on the TV. Anna stiffened. "Work thing," she muttered, then stood. "I'm heading to bed." She kissed his cheek, a quick stamp, and vanished down the hall. The bedroom door clicked shut, louder than it needed to be. James stayed on the couch, the Mavericks tickets still on the counter, untouched. He opened his notes app and typed. Phone face down. "Mark, friend I dated." He didn't save it yet, just stared at the words, his mind running scenarios like a spreadsheet. Anna wasn't fighting, wasn't yelling, just drifting. And drifts, he knew, could sink ships. The next morning, James poured coffee, 1 mug, and left hers empty. Anna rushed out, grabbing her bag. No good morning text or glance. "Busy day," she called, already halfway out the door. He nodded, sipping, and waited until her car pulled away. Then he dialed a number he'd saved after a client's divorce case. A private investigator, discreet and legal. "I need eyes on someone," James said, voice low. "Nothing crazy, just facts." The PI agreed, quoting a rate James didn't flinch at. He hung up, the condo quiet except for the faint drip of the coffee maker. At work, James buried himself in portfolio reviews, but Anna's words looped in his head. He texted his brother, Luke, about the Mavs game, offering the extra ticket. Luke replied instantly, "Hell yeah, I'm in. What's up with Anna?" James typed, "Long story," and left it at that. Back home, he noticed Anna's gym bag by the door, untouched since her new running routine started. Always at dusk, always alone. He checked the mileage tracker on her smartwatch, left charging on the counter. 0 miles logged. His jaw tightened. That night, Anna came home late, smelling faintly of rosemary and gin. "Work drinks," she said, kicking off her shoes. She didn't mention Mark, but James didn't ask. He handed her a glass of water, which she took with a distracted thanks. As she scrolled her phone, laughing at something he couldn't see, he made a decision. No confrontation yet. He'd wait for the PI's report, stack evidence like he stacked data for a client pitch. If Anna was rewriting their story, he'd read the fine print first. By Friday, the PI sent a preliminary update. Anna had been seen at a rooftop bar with Mark, their heads close, her hand on his arm. No hard proof yet, but the dots were connecting. James saved the email, his chest tight, but his head clear. He texted Anna about dinner plans, suggesting their old Thai spot. She replied, "Maybe next week, super busy." He stared at the message, then booked a table for one. At the restaurant, he ate alone, the spice sharp on his tongue, and felt the first spark of something new. Not anger, but resolve. Anna wanted light. He'd give her clarity. James woke to his phone buzzing, the PI's email landing with a timestamp, 2:14 a.m. The report detailed Anna's late-night coffee run with Mark, their cars parked side by side at a 24-hour diner off the tollway. Photos showed her leaning across the table, her laugh caught mid-frame. James saved the images, his pulse steady, but his fingers tight around the phone. He didn't confront her. Instead, he laced his running shoes and hit White Rock Lake at dawn, each step pounding out a plan. At the office, he buried himself in a client's merger analysis, but his mind tracked Anna's patterns. She'd left early again, claiming a team meeting, her gym bag still untouched by the door. He texted her a neutral check-in. "Good day so far?" Her reply came hours later, a single emoji, a smiley face that felt like a signature on a lie. He forwarded the PI's email to his lawyer, a precaution, and requested a review of their prenup. The response was quick. Assets were airtight, his call if he wanted to move. That evening, Anna breezed in, phone glued to her hand, mentioning a new project keeping her late. James nodded, stirring chili on the stove. "Sounds intense," he said, keeping his voice even. She didn't catch the edge, already typing, her screen angled away. He served 2 bowls, but she ate standing, scrolling, muttering about a workgroup chat. When she stepped out to take a call, James glimpsed the name, Mark, before the door swung shut. He didn't follow her. He washed the dishes, the clink of ceramic grounding him. The next day, James met his brother Luke for wings at a sports bar. Luke sensed the tension, leaning forward over the table. "You okay, man? You're quiet." James hesitated, then shared the basics. Anna's distance, the friend comment, the PI's photos. Luke's jaw tightened. "She's playing you. What's your move?" James sipped his beer, the cold glass steadying his thoughts. "I'm collecting data. No rash calls." Luke nodded, but his eyes said he'd back any play James made. Back home, Anna suggested a group hangout with her coworkers, a shift from their usual solo nights. James agreed, curious. At the bar, string lights cast a warm glow over the patio, but the vibe was cold. Anna laughed too loudly at Mark's jokes, her hand brushing his arm. James watched, silent, as her coworkers exchanged glances. One, Jenna, pulled him aside during a drink run. "You don't deserve this," she whispered, her eyes flicking to Anna. "She's been off for weeks." James thanked her, filing the ally away. The PI's next report landed Sunday morning. Anna and Mark at a park, her head on his shoulder during a work break. James printed the evidence, tucking it into a locked drawer with their prenup. He didn't rage or sulk, he acted. He called a realtor about a 1-bedroom across the street, securing a tour for Monday. Then he texted Anna, proposing a hike, testing her. She declined, citing a deadline, but her smartwatch showed no steps logged. He didn't call out, just booked a solo climb a local trail. Monday, Anna left early again, her goodbye a rushed wave. James met the realtor, touring a sleek unit with a view of the Dallas skyline. He signed a month-to-month lease on the spot, his signature deliberate. Back at the condo, he moved his laptop and gym gear to a corner, mentally mapping his exit. Anna came home late, smelling of wine, and suggested a movie night. James agreed, but when she picked a rom-com, he excused himself to answer a work email. He drafted a timeline instead, noting every dodge plan, every late night. Tuesday, the PI sent a bombshell. Mark was engaged, his fiancée unaware of the affair. James paused, the information a lever he hadn't expected. He didn't act yet, but the gears turned. At dinner, Anna pushed for a weekend getaway, her voice sweet but forced. "We need us time," she said, reaching for his hand. He let her hold it, but his grip was loose. "I'll check my calendar," he said, eyes on his phone, mirroring her detachment. She frowned, sensing the shift but saying nothing. That night, James attended a boxing class, his fists hitting pads with new force. The coach nodded approval, but James wasn't there for praise. Each punch clarified his next move. He'd wait for one more piece of evidence, then lay his cards down, not to destroy Anna, but to protect himself. As he showered at the gym, his phone pinged with a text from Jenna. "Check her work laptop if you can. Password's her birthday." James didn't respond, but the tip locked in. He'd play clean, legal, and sharp. James woke to the buzz of his phone. The PI's latest report confirming Anna's lunch with Mark at a tucked-away bistro, their hands linked under the table. He saved the email, his jaw tight, and headed to the office, where numbers offered a brief refuge. During a break, he accessed Anna's work laptop, left open on the counter, using her birthday as the password. A chat app revealed flirty messages with Mark, timestamped during her meetings. James screenshot everything, his fingers steady despite the burn in his chest. He didn't confront her yet. Instead, he met his lawyer at a downtown cafe, sliding the printed screenshots and PI photos across the table. The lawyer scanned them, nodding. "Prenup's solid. You've got grounds for a clean split." James instructed her to draft divorce papers, but hold off filing. He wanted leverage, not chaos. Back at the condo, Anna was out, her gym bag still untouched. He packed a suitcase with essentials, stashing it in the guest room closet. That evening, Anna suggested a group happy hour, her voice overly bright. James agreed, sensing a chance to observe. At the bar, Mark dominated the conversation, Anna laughing at his every quip. James sipped his soda, noting Mark's fiancée, Emily, absent from the group. Jenna caught his eye, mouthing, "You okay?" He nodded, then excused himself to the restroom, texting the PI to track Emily's contact info. A plan was forming, sharp and legal. The next morning, James skipped his usual coffee routine with Anna, grabbing a protein shake and heading to the gym. His phone pinged with the PI's update, Emily's email, and social media handles. James drafted an anonymous message, attaching a single photo of Anna and Mark at the bistro, with a note, "Check his recent lunches." He sent it from a burner account, then deleted the trail. His heart raced, but his hand stayed calm, like signing a deal. At work, he finalized a client presentation, his focus razor-sharp. Anna texted, proposing a dinner at their old Thai spot. He agreed, curious to test her. At the restaurant, she ordered wine, her smile rehearsed. "We should do this more," she said, leaning close. James nodded, asking about her day. She vague answered, mentioning team stuff. He didn't press, but when her phone lit up with Mark's name, she silenced it fast. "Work," she said, unprompted. He let the lie sit. Later, at the condo, James caught Anna scrolling Mark's social media, her thumb pausing on a photo of him at conference. "Big project?" James asked, voice neutral. She flinched, closing the app, just catching up. He nodded, retreating to the guest room to review the lawyer's draft. The papers outlined a fair split, his assets protected, no alimony. He signed them, locking the folder in his briefcase. Friday, the bomb dropped. Emily's reply to the anonymous tip hit the PI's inbox. She confronted Mark, who admitted flirting but denied more. Emily wasn't buying it. James didn't celebrate. He strategized. He invited Anna to a rooftop bar, her favorite, framing it as a peace offering. She arrived, all charm, suggesting they reset. James smiled, then slid his phone across the table, opened to the bistro photo. "Reset this," he said, voice low. Anna froze, her eyes darting to the image. "It's not what you think," she started, but James cut her off. "I know exactly what it is. And so does Emily." Her face drained, the realization hitting. "You told her?" she whispered. James shook his head. "Someone did. Truth finds a way." He leaned back, watching her scramble. "I trusted you," she said, voice cracking. "And I trusted you," he replied. No anger, just fact. She pushed for explanations, claiming Mark was just fun. James didn't argue. He handed her the divorce papers and signed for now. "You wanted light. I'm giving you freedom." Her hand shook as she scanned the terms, her confidence unraveling. "We can fix this," she said, but her voice wavered. James stood, leaving cash for the drinks. "Think about what fix means. I'll be at the new place tomorrow." He walked out, the city lights steady around him. At the gym that night, James hit the heavy bag, each punch a release. Luke called, sensing the shift. "You did it, didn't you?" James exhaled. "Started it. Not done yet." He hung up, showered, and moved his suitcase to the new apartment across the street. The key turned smoothly in the lock, the space his own. He slept on a bare mattress, the silence louder than any fight. Anna's text came at midnight. "Please, excuses." He read them, then muted her, his decision made. James woke in his new apartment, the bare walls echoing the quiet of a fresh start. He brewed coffee, checked his calendar, and confirmed a financial literacy workshop he'd signed up to teach. His phone stayed silent. No new text from Anna since her late-night pleas. He didn't reply, focusing instead on boxing class, where his jabs landed harder, each at a step toward reclaiming his space. At the office, he finalized a client deal, his clarity earning a nod from his boss. Anna's first move came at noon, a calendar invite for talk at a downtown cafe. James declined, texting "busy today. Try tomorrow." Her reply was instant, a string of emojis, hearts, a coffee cup, softening the tone. He ignored it, driving to the workshop venue to prep. The room filled with eager faces, their questions about budgets grounding him. He taught with precision, his voice steady, the work a reminder of his value beyond Anna's choices. That evening, Jenna texted her about the blow-up with Mark. "Office is buzzing." James called her, curious. She shared that Emily had dumped Mark after finding more messages, and Anna's name was now office gossip. "She's unraveling," Jenna said. "Keeps asking about you." James thanked her, hanging up as he pulled into his new parking spot. He unpacked a box of books, arranging them on a shelf, each title a small anchor. Anna showed up unannounced, knocking softly. James let her in, keeping the door ajar. She held a takeout bag from their old Thai spot, her smile tentative. "Peace offering?" she asked, setting it on the counter. He nodded, grabbing plates, but kept his distance. Over dinner, she pushed for reconciliation, her voice low. "I messed up, James. Mark was a mistake." He chewed slowly, letting her words hang. "Mistake or choice?" he asked, eyes steady. She flinched, no answer ready. He didn't fill the silence. Anna shifted, mentioning a reset with date nights and counseling. James set his fork down. "You wanted light. I gave you space. Now you want terms I didn't agree to." Her eyes welled, but he didn't soften. "I have the papers," he said, nodding to his briefcase. "Sign, or we talk through lawyers." She shook her head, standing to pace. "I'm not ready to end us," she said, voice breaking. James stayed seated. "You ended us when you chose him." She left, the takeout bag half empty. James cleared the plates, then emailed his lawyer to file the papers. The next day, he met Luke for a Mavericks game, the arena's roar drowning out any lingering doubts. Luke clapped his shoulder. "You're looking lighter, man." James grinned, passing him a beer. "Feels like it." His phone stayed in his pocket. No need to check for Anna's texts. The scoreboard ticked up, and he cheered, fully present. At work, a colleague mentioned Anna's LinkedIn update. She'd taken a leave of absence. Gossip swirled. Her team sidelined her after the drama with Mark. James didn't dig, focusing on a new client pitch instead. After hours, he ran at White Rock, the lake's calm mirroring his own. His phone buzzed mid-stride, Anna's name. He let it go to voicemail, listening later. Her voice cracked, apologizing, promising change. He deleted it, no reply needed. Saturday, Anna tried again, texting about a concert they'd once planned to attend. James declined, already booked for a group hike with friends. He led the trail, laughing with Jenna and others, the air crisp. Jenna pulled him aside. "She's telling people you're cold." James shrugged. "She's telling herself stories. I'm just living mine." He snapped a photo of the view, posting it with no caption, letting the moment stand. By Sunday, Anna's text slowed, replaced by a formal email from her lawyer requesting mediation. James forwarded it to his own attorney, who confirmed the prenup's terms would hold. He spent the day teaching another workshop, the attendees' gratitude fueling him. Afterward, he bought a small plant for his apartment, setting it by the window. It wasn't much, but it was his, a quiet claim to a life he controlled. Anna's final push came Monday. She waited outside his building, holding coffee, her eyes red. "Can we just talk?" she asked. James nodded, leading her to a bench outside. She admitted Mark was a fling, a way to feel alive. She begged for a second chance. No labels, just effort. James listened, then spoke. "Effort's not enough when respect's gone. I'm not your backup plan." She cried, but he stood, offering a handshake. "Good luck, Anna." He walked away, the weight of her gaze fading with each step. James finalized the divorce papers at a quiet law office, signing his name with the same precision he brought to client contracts. His lawyer slid the documents into an envelope, confirming Anna had no legal leverage. The prenup held, assets split cleanly. James nodded, thanked her, and walked into the Dallas sun, the weight of closure settling like a balanced ledger. He drove to his new apartment, where boxes were now unpacked, a coffee table holding a single plant he watered daily. Anna's absence rippled through their shared circles. Jenna texted that Anna had moved to a friend's place, her job status shaky after the office fallout. James didn't reply, instead prepping for his next financial literacy workshop. At the community center, he guided a room of eager learners through budgeting basics, their nods fueling his focus. One attendee, a single dad, thanked him for clarity that felt like a lifeline. James shook his hand, the exchange grounding him further. Luke invited him to a watch party for the Mavericks' next game. James arrived with a six-pack, greeted by high fives and easy banter. No one mentioned Anna, a silent agreement among friends. During a timeout, Luke leaned in. "You're good, right?" James nodded, eyes on the screen. "Better than good." He meant it, the arena's energy syncing with his own. His phone stayed silent, no longer a tether to Anna's attempts at contact. Back at work, James pitched a new client, his confidence sharper than ever. His boss pulled him aside, hinting at a promotion for his recent focus. James accepted the praise, then spent lunch running at White Rock, the lake's breeze carrying a sense of forward motion. He stopped to snap a photo of the water, posting it with a caption, "Clear days, clear choices." Friends liked it, their support quiet but steady. Anna's name didn't appear in the comments. A week later, Anna emailed, requesting a final meeting to clear the air. James agreed, choosing a public park bench at noon. She arrived on time, holding a notebook, her posture stiff. "I've been thinking," she began, listing regrets, ignoring him, chasing Mark, dodging accountability. James listened, hands resting on his knees. When she finished, he spoke. "I forgive you, Anna, but forgiveness doesn't mean we rebuild." Her eyes searched his, finding no give. She nodded, scribbling a signature on a mutual release form he'd brought. The form finalized their split. No disputes, no lingering ties. Anna handed it back, her voice low. "I lost something real." James stood, offering a polite nod. "You did. So did I. But I'm not losing myself again." He walked away, the park's chatter fading behind him. At his apartment, he filed the form, then cooked a solo dinner, grilled salmon, no extra plate. The act felt deliberate, a choice, not a habit. His routine solidified. Boxing classes twice weekly, each punch honing his strength. A guitar lesson he'd booked on a whim, fingers relearning chords by the window. A Saturday hike with new friends from a workshop, their laughter filling the trail. Jennison a podcast on self-worth, no note attached. James listened while lifting weights, the message reinforcing what he'd already built. Respect starts within. Anna's final ripple came via a mutual friend's text. She'd taken a job in Austin, a fresh start. James read it, then archived the thread. He didn't wish her ill, but her path was hers now. At the next workshop, he shared a new lesson. Value your assets, especially yourself. The room nodded, some jotting notes. A woman lingered after, asking about investments. James answered, then invited her to a group coffee outing, keeping it light, no pressure. The Mavericks season rolled on. James and Luke grabbed courtside seats. The crowd's roar a pulse he felt in his chest. He bought a round of beers, toasting to new plays. Luke grinned, raising his glass. To you, man. James clinked back, the moment unscripted and true. His phone buzzed, a client thanking him for a portfolio win. He replied, then pocketed the device, eyes on the game. At home, James stood by his window, the Dallas skyline steady against the dusk. He jotted a final note in his app. Choose terms, keep them. The plant by the sill thrived, green against the glass. He locked his door, set coffee for morning, and lay down, the bed his alone. Sleep came fast. No fan needed to drown out noise. His life was his, built on decisions made in daylight, each step a line item in a ledger that finally balanced.